Technology trends. So, if we look at solar panels today, most of them are rated somewhere between 440 and 720 watts in 2024. Some of the newer bifacial glass panels are even expected to go up to around 760 watts in 2025. For homes, though, panels are usually smaller, typically in the 435 to 550 watt range. The really big panels, above 670 watts, are mostly used in large, ground-mounted solar plants. There are also special panels designed to be built directly into buildings, and those can be larger and sometimes more powerful. In terms of how panels are made, most of them use crystalline silicon. Basically, they're made of many small solar cells connected together and sealed between a glass front and a plastic or glass backing. Thin film panels are a bit different. Instead of separate cells, the solar material is laid onto a single surface, which can be flexible or rigid, and then covered with plastic or glass. Now, one of the biggest changes in the solar cell industry happened in 2024. In 2023, P-type PERC cells were still the dominant technology, with about 2/3 of the market. But that changed fast. In 2024, their share dropped to around 20%, and TOPCon N-type cells took over, jumping to about 70% of the market. Other technologies like heterojunction or back contact cells are still around, but they are niche, each below 5%. One big headache for the industry right now is silver. Solar cells use a lot of it, and in 2024, nearly 17% of global silver demand went into solar manufacturing. As silver prices keep rising, that adds real cost pressure, especially as the industry moves toward terawatt-scale deployment. Because of that, manufacturers are working hard to use less silver. They are testing silver-coated copper pastes, copper-based printing, and new cell designs like busbarless cells and better interconnection methods. The idea is to keep performance high while cutting material costs. To save on weight and cost, manufacturers have also started using thinner glass on the front of panels. But that comes with trade-offs. Real-world data shows that panels with 3.2 mm glass handle hail much better than those with 2.0 mm glass, which tend to break more easily. Finally, when it comes to encapsulation materials, ethylene vinyl acetate EVA is still the most common choice, making up just over half the market. But polyolefin POE materials are becoming more popular because they are more durable and better at keeping moisture out, especially important for N-type cells. Since POE is more expensive, many manufacturers now use EPE structures, which mix EVA and POE layers. That option has grown quickly over the past year. PV pricing and production. Prices dropped a lot during the year 2024. At the start of 2024, N-type monocrystalline cells cost about 5.6 cents per watt. By May, that fell to 4.4 cents, and by June it was down to 3.4 cents. By the end of the year, prices hit about 3.3 cents per watt, which is incredibly low by historical standards. On the technology side, there have been some clear trends too. One big one in 2024 was the rise of bifacial modules. In fact, 77.6% of crystalline silicon modules made in China were bifacial, which shows how much the market values higher energy output. Regarding solar module production, other than China, the numbers are smaller but still meaningful. India produced around 24 gigawatts, the US about 23 gigawatts, Vietnam roughly 20 gigawatts, Thailand around 10 gigawatts, and Malaysia about 7 gigawatts. Smaller amounts also came from places like Canada, Japan, Turkey, Cambodia, and Taiwan. In Southeast Asia, most PV module manufacturing in countries like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, and Cambodia was mainly focused on supplying the US market. However, in 2023, US authorities concluded that solar products imported from these four countries were effectively circumventing existing trade duties on Chinese products. Because of that, starting on June 6, 2024, the US imposed anti-dumping and countervailing duties, along with additional anti-dumping measures, on imports from these countries. Since then, imports have already dropped, and going forward, some manufacturers may cut output or move production elsewhere.